Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, commissioners and staff, and welcome to the City of Paterson Planning Board meeting this evening of May 4th, 2022 at 6:30 p.m. Welcome, and Mr. Aquaviva, would you please call in and start the opening statement? And before, also, let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you very much.
Certainly. Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
Yes, thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone. Mr. Aquaviva, you may begin, sir.
Thank you. Commissioners, planning board staff, ladies and gentlemen, as attorney for the City of Paterson Planning Board, I call this meeting of May 4th, 2022 to order. I hereby state that all the provisions of the State of New Jersey Public Meeting Law have been fully and completely met, that the notice of provisions required have been properly posted in the Planning Board office and with the City of Paterson clerk, that the public notice and advertisements have been published in the Herald News on April 22nd, 2022, in accordance with the law, and that the copies of such notice and public advertisements are on file in the Planning Board office, as is also the agenda listing the applications to be taken up by the Planning Board at this meeting. The procedure tonight will be in accordance with the rules, regulations, and bylaws as heretofore determined by the Planning Board at its office in the municipal complex in the City of Paterson. Madam Secretary, roll call, please.
Yes, Madam Chair. I'm sorry, we haven't gotten that far. I think that before I call the roll, will we have a vote first?
Okay, you want to do the vote on the acting chairperson first?
I think so.
Okay.
We can do the vote, but.
Okay. As you're aware, our chairperson is out today, so we need to take a vote for our acting chairperson. Do I have a motion nominating a commissioner tonight as acting chairperson?
I make a motion to put as a president Commissioner Figueroa.
Unfortunately, you cannot do so.
Right.
She is a mayor's representative, cannot hold the office or that position at this time.
I should have clarified that, Commissioner. She's not eligible.
Okay. Then Fania Santana.
Thank you very much. Is there a second?
I second. Commissioner Cleve, second.
Madam Secretary, roll call.
Okay, would you like to call the first and second motion again?
The motion was made by Commissioner Lorenzo and seconded by, I didn't get who seconded, I'm sorry.
Commissioner Cleves.
Okay, Commissioner Cleves seconded that motion.
Thank you. Commissioners, Commissioner Cleves, your vote?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Liranzo.
Yes.
Commissioner Zoraya.
Yes.
Commissioner Figueroa.
Yes.
Commissioner Santana.
Yes.
That is 5 in the affirmative. This meeting this evening will be held by Commissioner, Acting Vice Chair, Fania Santana.
I'm here too, Madam Secretary.
Oh, you are
Councilman
correct. I apologize. Councilman Kalik. Your
My
vote
vote is yes.
Thank you. There are now 6 votes in the affirmative.
Okay, Ms. Farswood, I believe the application that you are reading, we're going to hear first, which is Essex Street, I believe? Is that correct? Okay, if you can read your review, please. Actually,
Before, may I interject here with your permission?
okay.
Chairwoman Santana? Now that we voted for you, we still have to vote for the roll call. May I proceed?
Oh, I thought we did that. Go ahead, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Thank you. Commissioners, Commissioner Udine is absent, Commissioner Ahmed is absent, Commissioner Cleves.
Present.
Commissioner Fisher is absent, Commissioner Liranzo.
Present.
Commissioner Amar.
Present.
Commissioner Roman is absent, Commissioner Figueroa.
Present.
and Councilman Kalik.
Present.
Thank you, and Acting Chairwoman Santana.
Present.
Thank you. May proceed, Mr. Aguilera, with the
Thank you.
agenda. Thank you.
Madam Secretary. I believe we are hearing the application of Paterson Fund One LLC, property located at 70-76 Essex Street, block 6304, lots 14, 15, 16, and 17. Mr. Rubin, can I have your appearance for the record, please?
Yes, for the record, I am Michael Rubin. We represent Paterson Fund One LLC, and this is for the property at 70-76 Essex Street, lots 14, 15, 16, and 17, and block 6304, in the RA2 zone of the Fifth Ward redevelopment area. And as much as there are 6 members present, we stipulate that 6 members is fine for us, and we would like to move forward.
Thank you, Mr. Rubin. Ms. Farswood, can you read your review in the record, please?
Sure. Property taxes and surcharges are current. Persons having a 10% or greater ownership interest in Paterson Fund One LLC are Matthew Florio, Alan Scheirenbeck, Raymond Dawwoody, and Rodney Dawwoody, all providing an address of 175 Broadway in Paterson, New Jersey. The property survey prepared by GB Engineering and dated September 14, 2021 indicates that combined lots 14 through 17 in block 6304 have frontage of 100 feet on Essex Street and Summer Street, a rear lot line of 100 feet, and a western lot line that measures 100 feet as well. Lot 14 and 15 contain an existing one-story building and a covered structure, and Lot 16 and 17 are vacant properties. The combined lots are located on the southwest intersection of Essex Street and Summer Street and have a total area of 10,000 square feet or 0.22 acres. Evans Architect has prepared a 7-page architectural plan dated September 29, 2021. Drawing S-1 is the site plan and indicates the utility, the drainage and topographic site plan, the lighting and landscaping, the existing site plan, the proposed site plan, the tax map location, and the zoning table and notes. The proposed lighting and landscaping plan indicates the recessed lighting along the north and east side of the proposed building and 5 cherry trees on the sidewalk along Essex and Summer Street. Also, some shrubberies are proposed inside the property along the southern and western property line. A note on the plan indicates that the entire site and site perimeter is to be equipped with reduced security cameras throughout public areas and site lighting along the traveled public way and parking area. Surveillance cameras are to connect to the City of Paterson Police Department. The placement of the security camera and the site lighting are indicated on the proposed site plan. The proposed site plan indicates that the existing structures on lots 14 and 15 are to be removed, and the 4th-story building is to be constructed on the combined lots 14 through 17. The proposed building is to cover 83% of the subject property, and it's to be located 3 feet from the first floor to the Essex and Summer Street, and 0 feet from the southern and western property line. The applicant proposes one curb cut on Summer Street, which measures 22 feet in width. The entrance to the first floor parking garage and the building's main entrance is from Summer Street. The proposed site plan also indicates 2 doors to the side and rear of the building, including the side and rear yard. Drawing F-2 titled as site plan details indicates details for the water service connection, the general and fire service, the sanitary sewer, the permeable paver, the concrete vertical curb, the tree and shrub planting, the sewage pit section, the stop bar and traffic arrow, the accessible parking stall and sign, the wheel stop, the stop sign and the lighting detail. Drawing F-3, also titled as site plan details, indicates the soil erosion and sediment control nodes, the stabilized construction access, the sediment filter fence, the inlet filter, and the proposed site plan showing all these details. Drawing A-1, titled as first floor parking plan, indicates the first floor, the second through fourth floor plans, and the apartment schedule table. The first floor indicates the parking plan accommodating 22 parking spaces, of which one space is a handicap parking space, and 6 spaces are in a tandem arrangement. Each parking space measures 9 feet by 18 feet, and the two-way drive aisle measures 24 feet in width. The building's lobby, the package room, the sprinkler room, the elevator, 2 internal staircases, the bike racks, the refuse and recycle area, and the fitness area with a half handicap bathroom inside are also indicated on the first floor plan. In addition, this plan indicates that from 3 egress doors on the sides of the building, 2 doors are located on the northwest and southeast corner of the building, and a 6-foot-high privacy wall is extended from these doors along western and southern property lines. The third door is situated on the north side of the building, providing tenant access from Essex Street. The second, third, and fourth floor plans are identical in layout. Each floor contains 6 studio units, 3 one-bedroom units, 2 two-bedroom units, a janitor room, and 694 square feet of community room with a half bathroom inside. The elevator and 3 internal staircases provide access from the ground level to the upper floor. The studio units have areas of 397 square feet, 398 square feet, 428 square feet, 429 square feet, and 450 square feet, and contain a kitchen, a living, dining, and sleeping area, a laundry and mechanical room, and a full handicap bathroom. The one-bedroom units have areas of 628 square feet, 644 square feet, and 730 square feet, and contain a kitchen, a living and a dining area, a laundry and mechanical room, and a full handicap bathroom. The two-bedroom units have areas of 905 square feet and 939 square feet, and contain a kitchen, a living and a dining area, a laundry and mechanical room, and a full handicap bathroom. The second through fourth floors are cantilevered above the first floor on the east and north side of the building, and they encroach approximately 1.5 feet into the respective setback. Drawing A-2, titled as second floor and roof plan, indicates the roof plan containing the mechanical units area, 3,000 square feet of community terrace with seating area, a half bathroom, and the terrace lobby. The elevator and the staircases provide access from the lower levels to the rooftop amenity area. Drawing A-D, titled as elevations, indicates the proposed front elevation plan from Summer Street and the proposed right side elevation plan from Essex Street. The front view of the building indicates the proposed garage roll-up door in the center and an egress door and the building's main entrance with a canopy above to the left side of it. The front facade is to contain a brick veneer and a Nigeria Savannah fiber-side cement horizontal siding, as well as single and double casement windows. The right side view of the building indicates 2 egress doors and a brick veneer and a Nigeria siding, as well as single and double casement windows for this facade. The egress doors on the southeast and northwest corners of the building are located on the respective property lines, providing a zero setback to these lot lines. An approximate 4 feet high aluminum handrail and parapet wall shown on the front and right side elevation plans are proposed to provide tenant safety on the rooftop amenity area. Drawing A-4, also titled as elevations, indicates the proposed rear and left side elevation plan. The rear elevation plan indicates the parking area beyond the proposed 6-foot high privacy wall along the rear property line. This elevation plan also indicates a bridge veneer and a Nijiha siding as well as 4 casement windows for the second through fourth floors for the facade. Similar to the rear elevation, the left side elevation plan indicates a parking area beyond the left side 6-foot-high privacy wall, a bridge veneer, and Nijiha siding of 4 casement windows for the second through fourth floors. The building measures 42.9 feet in height. There is a requirement of the open space and amenity area of 4,950 square feet for this proposal. The applicant proposes 893 square feet of gym area on the first floor, 694 square feet of community room on each of the second through fourth floors, and 3,000 square feet of rooftop amenity area for a total of 5,976 square feet, which meets the minimum requirement of open space and amenity area proposed for the building's tenants. The intent of the RA-2 residential district of the February development plan is to permit a more intensive residential use of land with various types of dwellings. The surrounding existing dwellings are a mixture of older multi-family dwellings, an auto body shop parking lot across Summer Street from the subject property, and the townhomes across Essex Street from the subject property. Also, some newly built multi-family buildings are located along Summer Street and Beach Street. Variances are requested for the following. Side yard setback at 5 feet is required and 0 feet is proposed. Rear yard setback at 20 feet is required and 0 feet is proposed. Building stories at 3.5 stories is required and 4 stories is proposed. Maximum building coverage at 60% is required and 83% is proposed. Maximum impervious surface coverage at 80% is required and 96.5% is proposed. And parking at 36 off-street parking spaces are required, and 22 parking spaces are proposed, of which 6 parking spaces are in a tandem arrangement. Residential apartment construction is permitted within the redevelopment area. A mixture of different types of residential units is encouraged. As this is a redevelopment area, the planning board should determine whether the land area of this parcel is suitable for the number and type of apartment units proposed and whether additional off-street parking needs to be obtained. The access to the building and parking garage is from Summer Street, which is a two-way street. Some residential buildings along this street provide off-street parking for their tenants. On-street parking is also observed along Essex and Summer Street. It shall be the responsibility of the applicant and or the preparer of the plan to obtain a letter from the city engineer indicating that the plan has been satisfactorily reviewed prior to the plan being released to the construction official. This proposal is in the Sandy Hill section of the city. The surrounding neighborhood is mainly 2, 3, and 4-story multifamily residential dwellings with commercial uses at some corners. An operating warehouse building at the corner of Essex and Beach Street on the north side of the subject property, and the proposed multifamily residential development is scheduled for planning board hearing on the west side of the subject property are the uses adjacent to the subject property. In conclusion, the applicant estimates that this proposal will cost approximately $5 million. The applicant should incorporate the design elements contained within the February development plan on the site and within the building. This was the staff review for this proposal.
Thank you, Ms. Forswood. Mr. Rubin, how would you like to proceed this evening?
Yes, I would like my first witness sworn would be Matthew Evans, our architect, if he could be sworn in.
Okay, before we do that, how many witnesses do you have tonight?
There will be Matthew Evans, will be George Williams, our professional planner, and Andy Reed, a representative of the owner.
Okay, thank you. Madam Court Reporter, if you can swear in Mr. Evans, please.
Swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
State your full name for the record, please.
Matthew Evans, architect, 470 Chamberlain Ave, Paterson, New Jersey.
And I assume Mr. Evans' qualifications are allowed, as he has testified numerous times before the board.
Yes, Mr. Rubin, he has testified numerous times. We accept him as an expert witness in the field of architecture.
Thank you. Mr. Evans, we are dealing with this property, as you have heard, the planner's report. You tell us from an architectural viewpoint what we are looking at. What are we proposing?
Okay, let me share the, can you see the screen?
We can, Mr. Evans, is there any way you can make that a little larger? It's kind of minuscule.
Yeah, I'm gonna make it bigger.
Yeah, that's,
Going through the sheets, basically I agree with the planner, Ms. Barbu's, report. And basically what we're doing is there's an existing 100% impervious site, which has, mechanics garages on it. And what we're doing is proposing a new, demolishing that and providing a new, multi-story, apartment building, which is at the corner of Summer Street and Essex Street. So that would be, replacing the existing non-conforming garages. The first sheet, we show utility drainage topographic site plan. So we've addressed all the drainage, circulation, elevator, and parking. And what we have is a new curb cut on Summer Street, which enters the garage below. We have a fitness room at the intersection of on the first floor of Summer and Essex, and then refuse and vertical circulation behind that. Going to the lighting and landscaping plan, we show lighting perimeter, security lighting, security cameras throughout the public areas, and lighting within the garage or the tenant parking area. And we have the site plan, which is a basic site plan showing just the layout of the parking, circulation from pedestrian ways and the curb cut in the driveway. And we have 2 exits on each end for egress from the yard on the sides. Going to the site location plan, we show it shaded and basically at the intersection of Summer and Essex, and it's in the redevelopment zone. It's close to the park, also close to the City of Paterson train station. We designed it trying to minimize as many variances as possible. So we have a few variances for stories and impervious coverage and building coverage and parking. And there's also another variance for the overhangs above the first floor, which was mentioned in the report. We have this sheet S2 has basically engineering details and I believe that all, and then we have soil erosion for the Hudson Essex requirements. And then we have sheet A1, we have the floor plan, which is delineated with more dimensions on architectural floor plans for the layout of the space. So we do have some tandem parking, handicap parking, bike storage, and 9 spaces adjacent to that, along with the fitness room and refuse in the rear, sprinkler package in the main lobby on Summer Street. The upper floors are basically identical with a mix of studio, 1 and 2 bedrooms. They all meet the minimum criteria for the City of Paterson square footage requirements. And zooming in, I can show a typical unit. We have all the units would be separate mechanical, central air and heat, and it would be controlled by an floor, which adds to the amenity space for the tenants. So, looking at that.
Mr. Evans, while we're talking about the community space, just make mention of our rooftop and the safe features on the rooftop area.
Okay, so that community room is an interior, room that would be used by the tenants. And then when we go up to the roof plan, we have a 3,000 square foot rooftop terrace, which is accessed by the 2 stairs and the elevator. And there's a small lobby to enter that terrace. And all the perimeter of that terrace would have a minimum of 4 feet high wall around for safety, for the tenants to use for that, and it would meet the minimum required by code for safety also. So we would that would be part of the design package.
And part of the design is also to have a methodology of having only the tenants who reside in this building to utilize that area.
Yes, it's just for the tenants' quiet enjoyment, for them to relax on the roof, and that would be the extent of the use for the tenants themselves. Going to the elevations, so we show Summer Street, you see the garage entry, we have the mix of materials, brick, siding, and different aluminum. And then we have railings up above. And it basically carries around to Essex Street, the same materials with brick on the ground level, mixed with siding and other architectural details for that. Going to the last page, we have the rear elevation, which is looking towards Summer Street. You have the garage door in the back that enters onto Summer Street. Then we have the parking basically underneath. A little more simplistic elevation for the rear. And then we have the left side elevation, which is perpendicular to Summer Street, showing the garage area below and windows and siding above that. So it's a mix of different materials. I can show you a rendering of it also. Can you see that?
Yes, that's clear.
Okay, so there's, the car would be facing, or would be on the Summer Street, and then Essex is to the right, and that's basically the intersection showing the scale of the building, different materials, and what we're proposing for the design. So we have a mix of different materials, and giving it these are a horizontal panel system, and then we have brick, and then as you see the railings above, and a mix of different color siding for the facades. So that would carry a little more simplistic on the rear and the side, but that's basically the main vista of this development.
Mr. Evans, in your professional opinion, that this building as it is now being designed by you and your firm fit into the parameters of the 5th Ward redevelopment plan? Are we be able to adhere to the design elements of the plan?
Yeah, so this is the in the RA2 redevelopment plan, which permits multifamily residential, and this fits in with some of the converted mill buildings and more higher density residential in the neighborhood. But I believe that the scale of this fits in with the character of the neighborhood and also redevelopment.
And lastly, in your professional opinion, can this building be built in the way that you have designed it in accord with the redevelopment plan without having these few bulk variances being adopted by the board?
I believe that these variances enhance the design of the building and make the most efficient use of the land. And by doing that, I think that we've achieved a good balance with the redevelopment plan and our design.
Thank you. Those are the questions I would have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Rubin. Commissioners, do you have any questions? Do any of you have any questions of Mr. Evans based upon his testimony?
Excuse me, Mr. Aguaviva. Can we open first for the public, or I think it's better to have the second witness and then open to the public and then see if any commissioners have any questions?
We can do that. Madam Secretary, are there any callers yet?
Well, first you have to open it up and I will answer that.
Okay, so we'll open it up to the public. Do we
Yes,
have?
and when you call it, please use a number ending 1578. Unless you'd like me to open it up.
You can open it up.
All right, give me 1 second, please, Madam Chair. 1 second, please.
Mm-hmm.
Good evening, applicants, attorneys, and this is now open to the public. If anyone would like to make any statement or question to anyone who has given their expert opinion, you are welcome, and please dial in to 973-321-1578, meeting ID number 711-680-001. Once again, that number is 973-321-1578, meeting ID number 711-680-001. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. While we're waiting for those callers, Mr. Rubin, do you want to call your next witness?
Yes, our next witness would be George Williams, who is.
I would appreciate if you just wait until I can find out if we have any callers.
Okay, I thought I heard the chairperson indicate that she wanted to continue with the testimony first, but we can wait. Madam Secretary, you're muted. I can't hear you.
I said, give me a second. I have IT calling me as well. Just give me a moment.
Okay.
Okay, this is, Commissioner Santana. I think that it's better to continue with the expert and then let's open it to the public and then to see if any commissioner has any questions.
I don't have a problem with that. You are correct, and I will adhere to what you're asking. But right now, since it was open up to the public, I just got a call from IT. They want to continue with the last digits at 1579. We'll connect everyone. And right now, Mr. Aquaviva and commissioners, we have no callers at this time. You may proceed, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Madam Secretary.
Mr. Williams could please be sworn so we may move forward.
Yes.
You swear affirm testimony about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I most certainly do.
Please state your full name for the record, please.
Good evening, Commissioners, Madam Court Reporter, Madam Secretary. My name is George Weedle Williams with the Nishwain Group, headquartered in Montclair, New Jersey, 105 Grove Street, Suite number 3.
Madam Chair, may I ask a question to our board attorney?
Sure.
I do know that when I was leaving work this afternoon, it was pretty late. It was about 4:30, and I got Mr. Weedle Williams' reports. I just want to make sure that everybody received them and saw them.
Commissioners?
I didn't get, I got it really late today, so.
Apologies for
What
that.
we do is, Mr. Williams, when you begin your testimony, we'll just enter that as an exhibit, if that's
Okay.
acceptable.
And since we're here, I know that our chairwoman is not present, but I would like to make this, and put it on the record. I keep receiving your, exhibits, Mr. Williams, at the end of the day. You can't send them the same day that I have a meeting. And I'm not here to disrespect you at all, but you can't expect me to question my commissioners and not understand why you could send them yesterday. It's very difficult for me to question who hears it or who read it.
Understood. We'll make sure we get them out a week in advance from now on.
Well, if the architects are doing it, I expect you to adhere to that too, at least till I'm gone. But thank you very much.
Madam Secretary, it's a legitimate concern. I'm sure Mr. Williams will address it. For tonight, though, Mr. Williams, what we'll do is we'll have that report entered as an exhibit, and you can testify specifically to that as opposed to something that was submitted administratively, if that's acceptable.
Works on my end. Again, apologies to the commissioners.
And Mr. Rubin, we accept Mr. Williams as a witness in the field of professional planning. He's testified before this board on a multitude of occasions. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Williams, could you please advise the board as to the planning parameters of this application?
Certainly, and I'll try to be brief because as Matt Evans testified earlier, we would concur with the recitation of release provided by your board planner and the bulk of the testimony provided by Mr. Evans, which really stole most of my thunder. With that, I'll probably share my exhibit now. Again, apologies to the board secretary and commissioners.
Mr. Williams, let me just interrupt you 1 second. Madam Court Reporter, we will enter that exhibit as Exhibit A1. Is that acceptable, Mr. Rubin?
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's loading now, commissioners. While it's loading, our exhibit, albeit sent a bit late, is a standard low-tech exhibit for us. It's a capture of several images taken directly from your land use documents. And
Mr. Williams, if I can interrupt you 1 second, I'm looking at the date of your report. It says May 8th. I wish it was. If I could get the news for May 8th today, that'd be great. Can you amend it on the record to say that the date that
yes,
sometime before May 4th?
Yes, we'll stipulate it's today's date, and I will send a clean copy to Madam Secretary with the correct date on it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. This is why we don't rush, but I'm very proud of you.
Correct. Thank you. A1, capture of images from your land use documents and images taken by I and my team while out in the field. Really just to give context to the remainder of my testimony. As Mr. Evans provided the project description, I won't go into any great detail about that, and your board planner captured the release are being sought, so I won't belabor that as well. I'll simply go through these slides to give a bit more context. The first slide, number 2, captures our site highlighted in the blue color at the corner of Essex and Summer Streets. Again, as Mr. Evans testified, a corner lot with an assemblage of several tax lots and surrounded by a variety of different land uses. We'll talk about those in a moment. Slide number 3, typical portion of our exhibit, captures or shows that our site is indeed located in the zone district described by your board planner earlier. In our exhibit, it's shown in the slightly yellow, lighter shade of yellow or canary on the upper portion of this zone district, corners of Essex and Summer Street. Now for the pictures that I think begin to demonstrate what Mr. Evans was saying earlier. I will reiterate that what's being proposed would be what I would consider a development that advances the purposes and intent of your redevelopment plan and your master plan. I would go a step further and say a bit of a game changer given the existing build out of the site and the surrounding area. I'll pause very briefly, and as part of my apology for the late submission, I just returned from San Diego where we had our annual planning conference, and I was proud to talk to my colleagues about some of the cities we work in, particularly Paterson, where redevelopment planning actually works. I think I've said this to the board before, it does not always work in every community, but in Paterson, we have a plan that's performing, and when it performs, it redresses conditions like this of either blight, abandonment, or deterioration. Slide number 5, just a capture of some more contemporary development in the area, giving you a sense of scale and massing. Mr. Evans touched on this in his testimony. We would submit that if you were to approve our application, it would comport with some of the better land development patterns in the area. Slide number 6, I think Mr. Evans also touched on this when he mentioned the nod to some of the industrial and light manufacturing uses that have always existed in Paterson. And this is an example at Madison Street. And again, you see the size, scale, and massing of that development. By the way, it is in a different zone district, but worth mentioning either way. Finally, slide number 7. This is a capture of recent construction at 455 Summer Street, 4-story residential building with some ground level parking in the RA2 zone district. Commissioners, with that, I'll turn to the proofs. As this board knows, we have requested, as Matt Evans contextualized it, several minor bulk and area variances. They include the rear yard, minimum building height in terms of stories, not feet, maximum building lot coverage, maximum impervious lot coverage, and the parking spaces. In my professional opinion, commissioners, each of those could be categorized under the C2 or flexible C variance, and that allows this board to consider whether the benefits on the whole from our development, again, a residential infill development that will displace vacant and or abandoned and deteriorated structures and replace them with quality housing that advances the purposes of your master plan and your redevelopment plan. And C2 allows you to consider whether those benefits outweigh any detriments. The detriments are from those very limited bulk and area standards for the RA2 district. And my professional opinion would be that in the aggregate, the benefits would definitely outweigh any detriments. In fact, I would go so far as to say there are no substantial detriments to the public good or to our impairments to your zone plan. But as this board knows, to prove the C2, we have to show that the proofs are rooted in the purposes of zoning, which are provided by the municipal land use law. And in my opinion, having reviewed this application and the site plan, listened to Mr. Evans' testimony, I would submit to the board that the following purposes of zoning would be advanced if you were to grant the bulk and area deviations articulated by your board planner. First, and this is a bit of a catch-all, but it's subsection A from purposes of zoning, and it is, I quote, to encourage municipal action to guide the appropriate use or development of all lands in the state in a manner which will promote the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare. Commissioners, I know it's a bit of a catch-all, it's the first purpose of zoning, but in my professional opinion, it would definitely advance the health, safety, morals, and general welfare, in large part because it removes conditions of blight. As I mentioned earlier, by removing those conditions of blight, you not only advance the purpose and intent of your redevelopment plan and redevelopment planning in general, but you also promote the general health and welfare by removing conditions that are unsafe and unsightly. Subsection J, to prevent urban sprawl and degradation of the environment through improper use of land. Commissioners, this is a purpose of zoning that seems appropriate in any application such as this where it's in a redevelopment area, and the intent of redevelopment planning and smart growth, by the way, is to invest in developed areas where you have existing infrastructure and capacity as opposed to allowing sprawl into areas that don't have those assets. So again, advancing the purposes of your redevelopment plan and larger state policies. Finally, Commissioner, subsection I, to promote a desirable visual environment through creative development techniques and good civic design. I'm always pleased when Mr. Evans shares his renderings. It really captures the essence of subsection I, both in terms of the visual environment and Mr. Evans's team's approach to good civic design, really taking a very efficient design approach to properties like this so that we are able to provide on-site parking and numerous tenant amenities. Again, game changer, certainly in terms of the aesthetic. If you were to approve our application with its deviations from those limited bulk and area standards, in my professional opinion, subsection I would certainly be advanced. Finally, and you heard me make this earlier, the advancement of a state policy can be considered a purpose of zoning as well. In my professional opinion, the state policy for smart growth, which encourages compact, dense development in urban areas, would be advanced if you were to grant our application. In terms of the benefits outweighing the detriments, again, I said this in my introductory comments, the benefits of the overall development proposal schema that's before you this evening under the Pullen court case, in my opinion, demonstrates that even with those minor deviations from the bulk and area standards for the RA2 district, the overall development package is a benefit that far outweighs any detriments. I found no substantial detriment to the public good or impairment to the zone plan. In fact, as you've heard me say, I found the opposite. In terms of parking, we do have a deviation from your parking standard. In my professional opinion, that deviation is appropriate. It can be cognizable either under the C2 district C2 variance context or the RSIS, or residential site improvement standard context. Both allow the board to consider what the Valenti court case says is the right sizing of parking supply, meaning if you agree with us, and that's based on a developer that has a lot of experience developing residential infill in this redevelopment area, that the real parking demand is less than that of the strict application of your code, then you may comfortably grant the variances being requested. Under the RSIS, our residential site improvement standard, very similarly, the state realizes that when you have properties, A, that are in urban areas, B, that are proximate to public transportation, and you heard Mr. Evans mention that in his testimony, and C, where parking demand is less than that of the strict application of your code, it's actually a better zoning alternative to grant the parking relief. In Paterson, the master plan seems to also agree with the logic of the RSIS and has a section that suggests that while insufficient parking is not good, the oversupply of parking is equally deleterious. And so in an application like this, in a redevelopment area, brought to you by a redeveloper that knows Paterson and this particular Fifth Ward redevelopment area so well, has empirical data that demonstrates that what the parking supply being proposed is more than adequate for the real demand under the Valenti court case for the proposed tenancy. In my opinion, you could comfortably grant the parking variance as proposed by this applicant. Commissioners, that concludes my direct testimony, but I'm available to answer any questions you might have about this application.
Mr. Williams, before we continue on, is it your professional opinion that as to this particular project, this particular building that has been designed by Mr. Evans, does it fit into the scope of the Fifth Ward redevelopment plan? Is it something that has its beginnings in the plan and is abiding by the provisions of the plan?
Thank you, Mr. Rubin, for asking, and I apologize if I did not make that really clear in my introductory comments. The answer is simply yes. It is taken almost directly from the redevelopment plan, fits within the four corners of the Fifth Ward redevelopment plan, and as I intimated earlier, it advances almost all the goals and objectives of this redevelopment plan.
Thank you. Those are the questions I would have of Mr. Williams. If we could move forward with our last witness.
Thank you, Mr. Reed. Hold on one second. Madam Chair, do you want to hear from Mr. Reed first before we open to the public, or do you want to have Mr. Williams' questions first?
All the witnesses are staying here. They're not going anywhere.
And you are putting on Mr. Reed tonight, Mr. Rubin?
Yes, right now.
Okay.
Thank you.
Please raise your right hand. You swear affirm testimony about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? I can't hear you.
You're muted.
Where are you, Andy?
I'm so used to Maggie telling me to mute my mic. Yes.
Now you see, that was a nice.
Say your full
Now
name.
I'm gonna mute you.
Andy Reid, Director of Development.
MVP Kemp, Warren, please.
I already swore him in.
Okay, thank you.
You proceed, thank you.
If you have been sworn, thank you. We didn't hear it. Mr. Anderson, and you are speaking again as a representative and project manager of the owner applicant.
Yes.
Now, you know the site. You've been there. You have well, you've been there right from the beginning, and you saw when the owner applicant even purchased this property. What do we have today? What does it look like?
Other than an eyesore, I mean, you have a vacant and abandoned lot that they used to store buses that they were repairing, like bus parts and buses and trucks that were up for repairs. And then in the little garage there off of Exeter Street, they used to do auto repairs right there. I'm pretty sure the commissioners are very familiar with that area there. And the Summer Street corridor is almost like a gateway in and out of the city of Paterson, coming from Route 80 off of Beckwith Ave and 21st Ave, and people coming towards Midtown or the Sandy Hill section of Paterson. Right now, they see an eyesore. There's been an eyesore there for years. I think Matt came up with a very beautiful design, very good concept, and something that fits into the Fifth Ward redevelopment plan, as well as our development style for, within the Fifth Ward. It's a great location. You go on Exeter Street 2 blocks to the west, and then go on Straight Street 1 block to the north, and you have the New Jersey Transit train station right there that takes you to Hoboken, Secaucus Junction. You go to Jersey City, Midtown Manhattan, or you can go up towards Port Jervis, New York, if that's your destination. You travel across the street there, and on the other side of Exeter Street in the dead end, you have the stairs that lead right up there to Rivera Clemente Park, in which the city has been doing a nice job modernizing it and making it more beautiful and more safe. So it's we're doing development in that area that was approved a couple of years ago. This right here will be a continuation of development in that area and changing the streetscape as well as the designs of the properties in that area. I mean, like I said, I'm pretty sure all these commissioners have been through there. I've been through that area for years, from kid going to Eastside High School and or had going to school 15, hanging around by school 15 or school 11, which is on the corner of Market and Summer, prior to being relocated. That area, it's just been an eyesore for years. No one ever really done anything with it. It was for car sales there at one time. Then I don't know if it was legal or unlegal, but they were parking buses there and doing buses and truck repairs there at one time. And then like I said, the little building, that little dark black building there, that was used as auto repairs there for years. Our building, as usual, are well maintained. They're maintained by our maintenance team and staff on a daily basis. The building will probably be well lit. We have security cameras and exterior, as well as all in the common areas that's connected to our central security monitor system station, as well as the Paterson Police Department. So the buildings are secure, the garages are secure. You have to be a tenant with a key fob, have access to the building or to the garage area.
Mr. Anderson, the last question is garbage. Are we still picking up, garbage here outside of the municipality that?
100%. All of our locations, we handle our own refuse, either by way of private sanitation companies or with our cleaning crew and dump trucks. We have licenses permits to dump at the transfer station. So we maintain our properties on a daily basis, and we do not depend on the city for our sanitation needs.
Thank you. Those are the questions I would have, Mr. Anderson. And those are all of the witnesses we would have for this application.
Thank you, Mr. Rubin. Madam Secretary, do you want to recite that announcement one more time for the public, and we can open it up to the public again at this point?
Yes, sir, one moment.
Thank you.
If any member of the public would like to join in on this meeting or has any comments or questions, please contact 973-321-1579, meeting ID number 711-680-001. Again, that number is 973-321-1579, meeting ID number 711-680-001. Thank you very much. You may proceed.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Madam Chair, I suggest we give it 2 minutes to see if we have any calls.
Okay. We can wait forward to see if we have any callers. And
Absolutely.
during that time, can we also see if any commissioner has any questions?
Sure.
For any of the witnesses?
Sure. Any commissioners have any questions from any of the witnesses tonight? Mr. Evans, Mr. Williams, or Mr. Reed?
All are available.
No questions? Comments? Concerns?
I have a question for Mr. Evans.
Good, Commissioner.
Yes, Commissioner.
There's no setbacks in the SS3 side.
We have a building, which is at ground level. It's 3 feet, setback in accordance with the ordinance. But the upper floors, we have some bays that bump out, which, go into the setbacks, but it doesn't encroach into the property line. So about a foot off of the property line, in certain sections. So, but at ground level, we're 3 feet, from the, property line.
So how many parking spaces are we gonna have there?
Well, we have 22 parking spaces for the development. This was done before, they passed the law about, credit for electric parking ready spaces. So we didn't include those, but we do provide 22 parking spaces, for the property. That's all in the garage, so that would be, private parking for the tenants.
Okay. So it's only gonna be one bedroom and 2 bedrooms apartment, right?
A studio, 1 and 2 bedroom apartments. So it's a mix. And we have more studios. We have probably the mix is more studios. Then we have 1 bedrooms, and then we have a couple 2 bedrooms per floor. So we have 2 bedrooms per floor, and then we have a mix of studio and 1s per floor.
Okay, Mr. Reed, what will be the prices of the rent in those apartments?
It would be a market rate rent.
Okay. That was my questions.
Thank you, Commissioner Ridalco. Any other commissioner have any questions? Okay, Madam Secretary, do we have any callers?
Madam Chair, if I could just ask a question of Mr. Evans. Mr. Evans, you there?
Yeah.
Can you just explain the tandem parking spaces and how, I see there's 22, our review states 22 including tandem spaces. So how many of those 22 spaces are actually tandem?
We have 6 spaces would be would have a tandem would be behind a space, so that we'd have 6 spaces of those would be included in the tandem parking. So those would be predominantly used for the 2-bedroom apartments.
And so how many spaces would be conventional, I'll call it conventional parking, non-tandem parking spaces?
So we have 16 spaces would be conventional.
Okay, so 16 plus the 6 tandems for a total of 22.
Right.
Great, thank you. Madam Chair, you can proceed.
Madam Chair, this is Commissioner Figueroa. I just want to ask a quick question if I may.
Please proceed.
Thank you. As far as, I really, like the fact that this has, it's like, it has the community room, it has the fitness room, it has the rooftop amenity. What if any green design elements does this, development have?
Well, we have energy efficient, all the units would be high efficiency units, energy. We have, everything would comply to the energy code for the new development. So we'd have additional insulation and materials that, like I said, the mechanical units would be high efficiency. And so those were some of the conditions that we have. The other conditions we're proposing are street trees around and landscaping around the perimeter of the parking for greenery. And basically that would be predominantly the most of the elements that we're proposing.
Do you know
Any other
that
commissioners?
I took that information.
Any other commissioners have any questions? Madam Secretary, are there any callers?
We have no callers at this time. You may proceed, sir.
Okay, Mr. Rubin, you want to sum up?
Yeah, just very briefly, this is an application in the 5th Ward redevelopment plan. We believe that the building that has been designed by Mr. Evans and has been testified by our professional planner, Mr. Williams, has shown that this fits into the 5th Ward redevelopment plan, that this is something that should be approved by the board, and that it takes away forever an area in need of redevelopment. And that's a nice way of saying a blighted area, and it is a blighted area, as you can see, but it forever removes that from this neighborhood. It is an area in need of development or redevelopment, and we think that this building that we have designed and that Mr. Evans has designed, and the developer is putting his resources into this project, is a credit to the community and a credit to this developer. And for all those reasons, we ask that the board please approve this application so we may move forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rubin. Madam Chair, would you like to call for a motion, or would you like me to do that?
If any commissioner would like to make a motion for approval for this application? If not, I would like to make a motion. I will make the motion for approval on the application of Paterson Fund 1 LLC, 175 Road, Paterson, New Jersey, 07505. The the property located at 7076 Essex Street, Block 6304, lots 14, 15, 16, and 17. Pre-approval subject to site plan approval, book variance, city engineer, HAP, soil conservation district. Ms. Appleby, do I missing anything?
Nope,
before
I think you got everything. There were no conditions that I heard.
All right.
Second.
Would
I
any
second.
commissioner would like to make this?
I
Thank
second.
you, Commissioner Levanto. Madam Secretary.
I'd like to slow down a moment, because I may have lost something. I heard Figueroa, but I didn't hear Iranzo.
Figueroa, seconded.
I actually heard him first, Madam Secretary. So we have the motion by Acting Chairwoman Santana and a second by Commissioner Lorenzo. If that's acceptable, then
Oh,
let's call
no,
for
not
the vote.
really, because that's why I'm looking at Amalinda. I didn't hear that vote, but Amalinda and I usually collaborate on this. I heard it differently.
I heard Figueroa, I heard,
Excuse me, may I speak
excuse
to
me,
the, Amalinda, please?
I heard Figueroa first, then Lorenzo jumped in, then Figueroa also mentioned it again.
Okay,
That's
so
correct.
we'll, if that's what you heard, then Commissioner Figueroa, did you second this motion?
She was the first, sir.
No, Commissioner Santana brought the motion to the floor. Commissioner Figueroa seconded it. I'm sorry, Commissioner Santana brought a motion for approval to the floor. Commissioner Figueroa seconded that motion, so if we can have a vote.
Thank you very much for that.
Thank you.
Thank you,
That's
everyone.
why you were so important to me. Commissioners, Commissioner Cleaves, your vote.
Aw, she sounds so sick.
Commissioner Cleaves, I know you're sick. Yes or no?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Fisher is absent. Commissioner Iranzo.
Yes.
Commissioner Santana.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Actually, that's fine. Commissioner Zoraya.
Yes.
Councilman Kalik.
Yes.
Commissioner Figueroa.
Yes.
And, this is unanimous. This application has been granted. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Madam
Mr.
Secretary. Okay, I guess, Madam Chair, we're moving on to our second application. That is Paterson Fund One LLC, 444-454 Summer Street, Block 6304, lots 18, 19, 18 and 19, in the RE2 zone of the 5th Ward redevelopment plan. I believe, Mr. Deutsch, you will be reading the review on the record this evening?
Yes, if I can put in my appearance first.
So, yes, I just wanted to confirm that, Mr. Deutsch, you're going to be reading this review, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, Mr. Rubin, can you enter your appearance, please?
Yes, thank you very much for this Paterson Fund One LLC for 454 Summer Street. I am A. Michael Rubin, 1330 Hamburg Turnpike, Wayne Township, New Jersey, and we represent the owner applicant. This is, again, a property in the RA2 zone of the 5th Ward redevelopment plan. And most respectfully, we have the same three witnesses. And the witnesses, again, will be Matt Evans, George Williams, and Andy Reid. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rubin. Mr. Deutsch?
Thank you. Property taxes and sewer charges are current. Matthew Florio, Alan Schaenfricker, Raymond DeBooty, and Rodney DeBooty, all providing a business address of 175 Broadway, Paterson, New Jersey, have a 10% or greater ownership interest in Paterson Fund One LLC. As indicated on the topographical property survey prepared by Kessner Associates and dated February 19, 2021, the parcel has combined lot frontage of 150.12 feet on Summer Street, a rear lot line that also measures 150.12 feet, and northern and southern side lot lines that measure 100 feet each. The combined lots have area of 15,012 square feet or 0.35% of an acre. The map of the property also indicates that a two-story brick and masonry building of approximately 3,000 square feet exists on the parcel. The lots have minimal change in elevation and are partially paved. The properties are located on the west side of Summer Street, 100 feet south of the intersection of Essex Street and Summer Street. Summer Street is a two-way street. Evans Architect has prepared a 5-page architectural submittal revised to August 24th, 2021. Sheet S1 is the site plan. The proposed site plan indicates that the existing structure is to be removed. Also indicated on the plan is the lighting and utility plan, the existing survey, the 200-foot radius map, the zoning ordinance data, and a note indicating that the entire site and site perimeter is to be equipped with video security throughout public areas and site lighting along the traveled public way and parking area, surveillance cameras to connect to the City of Paterson Police Department system. Site plan indicates that the proposed building's first story is to be placed 3 feet from the front property lot line of Summer Street, 0 feet from both the northern and southern side property lines, and 31 feet from the rear lot line. Two-way access driveways measuring 24 feet in width are located on Summer Street. 41 vehicle parking spaces, including 2 handicap spaces, are located on the building's ground floor, first floor. Sheet S2 is the site plan details. The plan indicates car overhang detail, the stop bar and traffic arrow, the accessible parking stall, the handicap parking sign, the wheel stop detail, the stop sign, the sanitary sewer connection, the water connection, a seepage pit section, tree and shrub planting details, and lighting details. Sheet A1 is the first floor parking plan. First floor plan indicates the main access into the building is into a lobby located on the right side of the building. The lobby includes mailboxes, a package room, an elevator, a staircase, and a refuse and recycling room. An interior door leads to the 41-space parking garage, including 2 handicap spaces. There are 3 additional access points into the building. On the southwest corner of the building, 1 exterior door leads to an interior stairwell. A gated door is located on Summer Street at both side yard entrances that lead to the parking area. On the north side of the building, there is an exterior door for the refuse room. From the parking area, there's a door leading into the janitor storage room with another door leading into the sprinkler room. Stacked gas and electric meters are located on the north side of the building's exterior wall. The applicant proposed walls of 6 feet in height on the side and rear property lines. 2 access driveways with overhead doors are located on Summer Street, approximately 38 feet in distance between them. Each of the curb cuts and driveways are 24 feet in width. Shrubbery is proposed along the side and rear lot lines. 5 street trees are proposed along Summer Street. Each of the 39 non-handicap parking spaces measures 9 feet in width and 18 feet in length. 5 of the proposed 41 parking spaces are in a tandem arrangement, which requires a variance. Second through fourth floor plans indicate 2 efficiency units, 8 one-bedroom units, and 1 two-bedroom unit per floor. Of the 11 units proposed on each floor, 2 of which are efficiency units containing 527 and 534 square feet, 8 are one-bedroom units containing 665, 666, 701, 702, 703, 759, and 845 square feet, and 1 is a 2-bedroom unit contains 1,062 square feet. Each unit contains a full bathroom, a kitchen, a dining room, living room area, and a washer dryer. The rooftop terrace floor plan indicates the mechanical units, the top of the stairwells, an elevated bulkhead, a terrace lobby, a half bathroom, and an open terrace area of 5,000 square feet of pavers that include seating and table areas. Sheet A3 are the building elevations. The proposed front elevation indicates the double door into the building lobby, the two side doors to the parking area, and the two proposed new garage entry doors. The building is to be composed of brick veneer and a vinyl siding finish. The building has a height of 45 feet. The left and right side building elevations indicate the open parking beneath the building on the first floor, additional brick on the first floor, and vinyl siding above. The proposed rear elevation also indicates the vehicle opening and the Summer Street garage doors in the background. Windows are to be placed as indicated on the plans. The intent of the RA2 residential district, the Fifth Ward redevelopment plan, is to prevent a more intensive residential use of land with various types of dwellings. Summer Street between Essex Street and Oak Street is composed of occupied multi-unit dwellings and auto-related uses, and a new multi-unit building as described in the concluding remarks below. The applicant requests variances for the following conditions for this proposed 33-unit structure. Both side yard setbacks as a minimum of 5 feet is required on each side yard, and 0 feet is proposed from each side yard property line. Number of building stories as a 3.5-story building is permitted and a 4-story building is proposed. Lot impervious coverage as a maximum lot impervious coverage of 80% is permitted and 93% is proposed, and parking as 5 of the proposed 41 parking spaces are in a tandem arrangement. 1 parking space is required for each efficiency and 1-bedroom unit, and 1.5 parking spaces for each 2-bedroom dwelling unit is required. As 30 1-bedroom units are proposed, 30 parking spaces are required, and as 3 2-bedroom units are proposed, 5 parking spaces are required, for a total of 35 parking spaces being required off-street and 41 being proposed. 5 of the proposed 41 parking spaces are in a tandem arrangement requiring a variance. The applicant is providing 5,000 square feet of open space, 4,950 square feet is required. Additionally, washers and dryers are provided in each unit. As this is a redevelopment area, the planning board must determine whether the granting of the requested variances to allow the number of dwelling units proposed by the applicant is appropriate for the lot and the immediate surrounding area. Residential apartment construction is permitted within the redevelopment area. A mixture of different types of residential units is encouraged. Apartment-type buildings have existed in the Fifth Ward for many years. The planning board should determine whether the parcel is suitable for the number and type of apartment units proposed. Range calculations are required and shall be submitted. It shall be the responsibility of the applicant and/or the preparer of the plan to obtain a letter from the city engineer indicating the plans have been satisfactorily reviewed prior to the plans being released to the construction official. Surrounding land use. This proposal is in the Sandy Hill section of the city within the Fifth Ward development plan. The area is zoned residential with neighborhood commercial areas encouraged at corner intersection. In conclusion, the applicant should request that the tax assessor merge the lots into one lot. The applicant estimates the cost of this proposal at approximately $5 million. The applicant should incorporate the design elements contained within the Fifth Ward redevelopment plan into the construction of this building. At a planning board meeting held on September 9, 2019 on a proposal at 455-457 Summer Street on the eastern side of Summer Street, an applicant was approved to construct a 24-unit, 4-story building with parking on the first level for 24 vehicles. As Ms. Farsgood stated, this application is directly adjacent to the previous application that was heard this evening. That is your staff review for this proposal, Madam Chairwoman.
Thank you. Mr. Rubin?
Yes, Madam Chair. Yes, if we could have our first witness for this applicant, which is Matt Evans, if he could be sworn.
Raise your right hand. Do you swear affirm testimony about to give us the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Say your full name for the record, please.
Matthew Evans, architect, 470 Chamberlain Ave, Paterson, New Jersey.
I assume Mr. Evans' qualifications are allowed as he has appeared before.
Yes, Mr. Rubin,
Good.
Yes, he's testified before, many times before this board.
Thank you. Mr. Evans, tell us the architectural parameters of this application.
Okay, so I'm sharing my screen now. Basically, I concur with Mr. Deutsch's report. We're proposing 33 units at 444, 450 Summer Street. And as you can see from the site plan, we have the existing conditions is the garage and asphalt areas that are non-conforming. And what we're proposing is a 4-story apartment, and we have the ability to provide more parking because the lot is 150 feet in width. So we're able to provide 2 garage entries, as you can see from the lower level plan, which allows tenant parking on, throughout the lower level. And we only have 5 spaces that would be tandem arrangement parking, which is good. It's a small percentage. And then we have our handicap parking and circulation from Summer Street with 2 overhead doors for the garage area. We also split the circulation into 2 elements. We have the left side, which has a fire stair, and then we have utilities, and then we have the main lobby, an elevator stair to the right side, along with the refuse and compactor room to the rear of the first floor plan. We show landscaping, lighting around the perimeter of the building. So it'll be all new construction, all new site improvements for the site. Showing the site plan, as I mentioned also, we have the building, and then showing the site hatched on the tax map. It's 440, 450 Summer Street, and as was mentioned, it's adjacent to the property on Essex and Summer, which is 33 units also. Going through the site, we have tried to develop this with as little variances as possible. I believe by developing it the way we did, we avoided seeking relief on many of those variances that were sought in the past. We've also have sheet S2 are the standard engineering details in conformance with the City of Paterson and State Valley Water Commission, State Valley Sewage Commission standards. Showing the sheet A1, we have the ground floor plan, which I basically spoke about in the site plan. So it's just a little more detail showing dimensions and the aisleways for the parking. So that all conforms to the City of Paterson requirements. And then the 2nd through 4th floor plans are basically similar. They're the same for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th floor plan. We show efficiencies, 1 bedroom and 2 bedroom units, and they all have their own laundry facilities, mechanicals, and large bedrooms, walk-in closets, and they all meet the ADA code for handicap bathrooms and accessible units. And that would be basically the layout, which is consistent with all those floors. We also show the rooftop terrace. So that terrace area shows the terrace, which has 4-foot high walls around the perimeter, which meet the 42-inch requirement for code. So we're a little higher than that. Gives a little more privacy. And this area would just be for the quiet enjoyment of the tenants for their use as exterior amenity space. And there's a small terrace lobby with a half a bathroom and the elevator for the also have a breakdown of the apartments from second, third, and fourth. All the apartments meet the minimum requirements for the studio, 1 and 2 bedrooms, and we're not seeking any relief for the square footage on those units. Then we show the front elevation, which is Summer Street, showing the mix of materials, brick and horizontal panels, and the entry to the right, which has the number 444 Summer Street, and that would be the main entrance along with the fire exit. And then what we've also done on this is we have a small wing wall, as you can see on the left side and the right side, and these would basically closes the unit so that there's no, it would just be accessible for egress and the tenants to go through the property. So it tightens up the property, doesn't allow any, circulation for people to go through the property. And the left side elevation is a little more simplistic, being that it's a side yard, and the right side, you can see the parking below. Then we have that privacy wall you can see on the elevations, which encompasses the perimeter of the property. So that's the elevations. Here is a rendering showing the front, showing the 2 garage doors, the fire entry to the left, and we show a different design, a mix of materials for this design. So you can see the brick, stucco. We have a horizontal panel which we're using on this. So we basically put a lot of attention to detail and the aesthetics of the building. You can see the railings of the terrace above, and then the walls are a little higher around there too. So it's private, and it allows quiet enjoyment for the tenants. And basically, as I mentioned, it's 150 feet wide, so we've made good use of that efficient space, and I feel that the design is in keeping with the scale and the heights of the neighborhood in the context of the Fifth Ward redevelopment plan, the RA2, and we don't seek a variance for parking, which is, we're successful in developing this where we're able to provide parking in and not seek a variance for parking. So that's basically what we're proposing.
Mr. Evans, taking the rendering which you have now put up, would we be standing on Summer Street and looking straight at the building?
Yes, it's basically straight across. You'd be on across the street, let's say 445 Summer Street, or 455, around there, and you would be looking straight at the building from across the street. So the right side is the main entrance, and then the left, you have the 2 garage entries in the middle, and then the fire exit on the left side.
And in your professional opinion, the design of this building fits into the parameters of the Fifth Ward redevelopment plan?
Yes.
So we are doing what the plan has asked us to do?
Yes, we provide a different mix of different type of residential developments, and we've aesthetically broken up the facade with different materials, and I believe that it's a successful solution to the redevelopment plan.
Thank you. Madam Chair, these are the questions I would have of this witness. If you would like, we could go to the next witness, and they're all going to stay, though, if there are any questions by anyone, the public, board, council, anyone.
Okay, Yes, let's proceed with the minutes and then we're gonna open to the public.
Please raise your right hand. You swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I most certainly do.
Please say your full name for the record, please.
Really good evening, Madam Court Reporter, Commissioners, Madam Secretary. My name is George Weedle Williams, representing the Nishwain Group at 105 Grove Street, Suite number 3 in Montclair, New Jersey.
Mr. Williams, you are testifying once again as a professional planner.
Yes.
We accept Mr. Rubin as an expert in professional planning.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Rubin, are you gonna be referring to another book or booklet pamphlet in your
Yes.
testimony?
Absolutely. Of course.
And we'll mark that as A1 again?
A1 in this application, absolutely. And
Thanks.
Tim's, go ahead with the planning parameters of the application, and A1 has already been marked, and you will supply a hard copy with the appropriate date if one has to be changed at all.
All right, thank you, Council, and although this one was also submitted today, so late, and with my apologies, at least we got the date correct on this one. So the date is correct on.
We're making progress.
It's slow, but it's there.
You got it now.
So Commissioners, this application for 444-450 Summer Street, very similar to the application you heard in the prior public hearing. I know each application stands on its own merit, so I will go through some of the necessary testimony, but for general terms, it is extremely similar to that which was just reviewed and approved by this board. In point of fact, this is a application for infill residential development in the 5th Ward redevelopment area. The exhibit A1 that I'm about to share with you is a capture of graphics from your land use documents and images captured by myself and my team while we were in the field conducting our field observations. Slide number 2 is just a capture of our site. Highlighted in yellow, you can see that it is a relatively large site in comparison to some of the surrounding sites. And this will look very familiar to you because it is on Summer Street, very close to the site that was just heard by the board a moment ago. Slide number 3, just to show again our site in the tan color along Summer Street as still being in the RA2 zone district of the 5th Ward redevelopment plan. Slide number 4, I'll pause here for a second, capturing the existing site, which is proposed for development. You can see a non-permitted use on the site currently, and in the background, you can see some of the surrounding land development that I shared with you in a prior exhibit, and we submit to the board that what is proposed for this site, similar to what was proposed on the prior site, is a vast improvement over what exists today, and in so doing, advances the goals and objectives of not only your redevelopment plan for the 5th Ward redevelopment area, but also the master plan for the city of Paterson. Again, very quickly, parenthetically, the intent of redevelopment planning is to achieve exactly what's before you this evening, and that is to remove conditions that we used to call conditions of blight, abandoned buildings, deteriorated structures, vacant lots, or buildings that are functionally obsolete. In this case, we remove a non-permitted use and replace it with something that is permitted and is intended not only to benefit the applicant and the site, but the surrounding area. Slide number 5 looks familiar, also in the prior application, a capture of construction underway at 455 Summer Street, which speaks to both scale and massing of some of the development in the immediate vicinity. Slide number 6, a capture of a bit of a hodgepodge of housing typologies, including the mixed-use development, but you'll note some of the heights here and the lack of any aesthetic contribution to the community and some obvious evidence of deferred maintenance on some of these structures. all located in the RA2 zone district. Finally, in slide number 7, again, I won't belabor this. You've seen this in a prior slide for this exhibit and in the prior application. Commissioners, that concludes the exhibit. Really just intended to give you a sense of what the site and surrounding area look like. And with that, I'll move to the proofs that are required for the deviations from your bulk and area standards in the RA2 district as recited by your board planner. As in the prior application, in my professional opinion, the proper context for deliberating our variance request would be the C2 or flexible C variance, which allows this board to consider if the benefits of the deviations outweigh any potential detriment. I would offer a very broad statement saying, in my professional opinion, that each of the deviations from your strict application of your code, the benefits of which will far outweigh any detriments. I'm going to go so far as to say there will be no detriments to the public good, and certainly no substantial impairment to your zone plan. With that being said, as the board knows from numerous applications, we have to demonstrate that the purposes of zoning under the municipal land use law would be advanced if you granted our relief, show that the benefits outweigh the detriments, and last but not least, that there is no substantial detriment to the public good or substantial impairment to the zone plan. I'm going to ask the board's indulgence under the pull-in court case and suggest that the deviations can be looked at in the whole. That is, if you agree with our proposition that the overall development schema as presented by Mr. Evans presents a viable development option for the site and this area, and that the trade-offs are deviations from the standards mentioned by Mr. Deutsch, that as a whole, our development schema works for the site and the area, and you can grant the reliefs as recited earlier. In my opinion, the purposes of zoning to be advanced would be subsection A, to encourage municipal action to guide the appropriate use or development of all lands in the state in a manner which will promote the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare. As you heard me say in a prior application, subsection A is particularly appropriate in redevelopment applications because we are de facto redressing conditions of blight or areas in need of redevelopment by presenting the kind of infill development that's proposed this evening. Similarly, anytime you remove conditions of blight, eyesores, etc., you are not just benefiting the applicant, but rather the community as a whole by creating safer, more aesthetic neighborhoods. Subsection J, to prevent urban sprawl, degradation, environment through improper use of land. Again, whenever the focus of redevelopment planning is on maximizing existing infrastructure in urban areas, you advance subsection J, in my opinion. Lastly, subsection I, to promote a desirable visual environment through creative development techniques and good civic design. Mr. Evans, as always, has demonstrated his firm's attentiveness to subsection I. The rendering really helps make the case for the advancement of subsection I in this application, showing what the site looks like today and what it could look like if this board were to vote favorably to approve an application for infill residential development with very high-end aesthetics and lots of tenant amenities. You've heard me mention before that if the grant of the relief also advances a state policy, that can also go to the positive proofs, and I would submit to the board again that if you were to grant our release from those selected bulk and area deviations or bulk and area standards, you would again advance the state policy for smart growth, which encourages this type of compact, dense development in urban areas that make neighborhoods more walkable and are transit friendly. Finally, no substantial detriment to the public good. In point of fact, if you were to grant each of those C variances, the trade-off would be a better development schema on the site which only improve the neighborhood aesthetic and viability. In my opinion, none of those deviations would create a detriment to the public good, certainly not substantial. As I mentioned in my introductory comments, what's before you this evening would advance the intent and purpose of your master plan. So there would be no substantial impairment to your master plan. In fact, it would be the exact opposite. You heard Mr. Evans' testimony about the parking, and so I will leave that there. In my professional opinion, the board can comfortably grant the selected deviations from your bulk and area standards for the RA2 district of the 5th Ward redevelopment area. Commissioners, that concludes my direct testimony. Here to answer any questions either you or the community may have.
Mr. Williams, if we can, is it your professional opinion that the proposal and the building that has been designed by Matt Evans and his group fits into the dynamics of the 5th Ward redevelopment plan? Is this something that has been envisioned by the city in its adoption of the plan?
Yes, Mr. Rubin, I believe it, in my opinion, it does meet what was envisioned by the 5th Ward redevelopment plan, and through its implementation probably exceeds the municipality's expectations for the performance of this redevelopment plan, but it certainly does advance the goals and objectives of the 5th Ward redevelopment plan.
Thank you. Those are all the questions I would have. The last witness for application will be Mr. Reed.
Please raise your right hand. You swear or affirm testimony about to give us the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
State your full name for the record.
Andy Reed, Director of Development.
Thank you.
Could you just advise once again of how you are connected with the applicant owner?
Well, I'm Director of Development for the ownership and management company. Obviously, this right here site, but
And you know the site, you know the neighborhood, you know what is happening, the dynamics of the neighborhood. Tell what's happening here on this site.
okay, so obviously the garage that's gonna be demolished, that's the garage where they were doing the trucks and the bus repairs at. As stated in the previous application, this site here is directly next door to it, so the same parameters apply here that applied in the last application. And just to answer on things, like I said previously, we handle our own garbage collections or do it through private sanitation. We don't use the city services for rubbish removal. We have our own security force that patrols our properties. The buildings will be well lit. We have security cameras in the common areas, the exterior, that's monitored by our security staff and as well as the Paterson Police Department. Like I said previously, last application, I don't want to use the word blight, even though we all know what that site looks like. It's in very horrible conditions. The building is an old masonry building. Like I said, there was bus parts, truck parts, and strewn around the lot area there, as well as truck and bus repair going on in that building.
Is there anything going on today or is that vacant?
It's vacant.
Thank you. And you know what the neighborhood looks like, and we don't use the word blight anymore, but we say that an area is in need of redevelopment. And in your opinion that you've been doing this work now for a long time, is this an area in need of redevelopment?
They said picture's worth 1,000 words, and if you look at the picture of that site there, that's an area in need of redevelopment, just based on the looks of it.
Thank you. Those are the only questions I would have. All three witnesses are available for answering by the public, the board, the staff, anyone.
Thank you, Mr. Rubin. At this moment, we're going to open to the public. Madam Secretary, would you mind stating the number?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Chairwoman Santana, thank you. For the public or anyone that is interested in communicating or questions or speaking on behalf of this project, which is 454 Summer Street, you may contact 973-321-1579, meeting ID number 711-680-001. Again, 973-321-1579, meeting ID number 711-680-001. Thank you very much. We'll get back in a couple of minutes. Thank you.
Thank you. Any commissioner has any questions for any of the witnesses?
Madam Chair, Commissioners, and staff, we have no callers at this time. You may proceed, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Madam Chair, if I may. Mr. Rubin, just a bit of housekeeping here. There's a recommendation from our planner and division director that the 3 lots be merged into one. Would you consent to that as a condition?
Yeah, not a problem.
Okay, little premature, but if a motion is made for approval, there would be a condition that the 3 lots, 18, 19, and 20, be merged into one lot by way of a deed to the satisfaction of the division director. Thank you.
Good. Not a problem.
Okay, so any commissioner have any questions? We have no callers, right? Madam Secretary?
We do not, Madam Chair. I heard her say that.
Yes, there are no callers, but I just want to go over this with you, Mr. Aquaviva. The condition is 3 lots be merged into one lot by way of deed with satisfaction with the director or the planner.
That is correct.
Which one?
Just make it and or, because once it goes in for review, our division director can direct that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You may proceed. We have no callers.
Okay, Mr. Roman, would you like to summarize?
Yes, if I can, just very briefly, you've heard the application. This is an application and a building that is being proposed in the 5th Ward redevelopment plan. And as you heard from our witnesses, this fits into the whole idea of the plan. This is what the governing body of the city of Paterson wanted for this site and new residential buildings, and to take away the previous non-conforming uses and the vacant lots and those areas that are in need of redevelopment. We believe that this building fits into those parameters, and most respectfully, we ask that you vote affirmatively for this application so that we may move forward to build this kind of building in the 5th Ward. Thank you.
Thank you. Any commissioner would like to make a motion in this application?
This is Commissioner Figueroa. I'd like to enter a motion to approve. Madam Chair?
Thank you. Proceed.
Okay.
Madam Chair, just for the record, there would be a condition that lots 18, 19, and 20 be merged into one lot by way of a deed to the satisfaction of the division director and or planner. Thank you.
Got it. Okay. So on the, I'd like to enter the motion to approve on the application of the Paterson Fund 1 LLC, 175 Broadway, Paterson, New Jersey, 07505, at property address 444-454 Summer Street, Block 6304, lots 18, 19, and 20. I move that the board attorney prepare a resolution granting the following: site plan approval, bulk variances, city engineer, HEP Soil Conservation District, and the additional condition that lots 18 through 20 be merged into one lot by way of deed to the satisfaction of the Director of the Division of Planning.
I second it.
Madam Chair, Madam Secretary, I heard Commissioner Alonso as a second.
That's correct. Madam Chair, may I proceed with the vote?
Please, Madam Secretary.
Thank you very much, Chairwoman Santana. Commissioners, Commissioner Cleaves, your vote.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Commissioner Iranzo.
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Zoraya. Amar, Commissioner Amar.
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Figueroa.
Yes.
Councilman Kalik.
Yes.
Thank you very much, sir. And Chairwoman Santana.
Yes.
There are 6 votes in the affirmative. This application has been granted.
Thank you very much, members of the board. Appreciate all the time you've given us. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Commissioners. Commissioner, please get well. Good night.
And happy birthday.
Feel better.
Birthday.
Happy birthday
Happy
to
birthday.
you. Good night.
Thank you, everyone. Before we leave, our commissioners, Mr. Aquaviva, I have no further business.
Mr.
I don't
Deutsch?
have any business. Mr. Aquaviva, I have no further business.
No, I'm asking Mr. Deutsch if there's, any announcement, anything that the board needs to be made aware of tonight?
Our next meeting is May 16th, Monday.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Have a good evening,
Can we get a
everyone.
motion to close?
Absolutely.
I make
Madam
a
Chair?
motion to close the meeting.
Let the chairwoman begin.
All right, Mr. Rianzo, make a motion to close. Everybody in favor, just say aye.
Aye. Have a good night.
Thank you. Have a good night. Good night.
Feel better, Commissioner, please.
Thank you.
Happy
And happy birthday.
Thank